Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Leverage Addicts. I'm your host, Blandon, and today I want to discuss this question with you guys because this is a very common question that a lot of clients struggle with, and it's something that we talk about internally and externally with our clients, and that is whether or not you should consider investing in properties, right? It's not even about like what properties to buy. Like, some people just need to first of all answer the question, is property investing the thing that you need to do? Because if it is, once you know why and you have determined that this is the answer, then you just go do it. You do everything that you can, you learn about properties, but before you even ask like what properties to invest in, right? Like, ask why and should you actually consider property investing? There's a systematic way to actually think through this. And this is something that we use internally, among us. Like, we obviously talk about property investing ourselves, and we use it with our clients because clients struggle with that question of, I'm not sure if I should wait for more equity. I'm not sure if I should pay off my mortgage first. I'm not sure if property investing is right. I'm not sure if it's the right environment. Like, those are actually just smoke and mirror. The first question is, should you do it, right? You got to know whether or not property investment is going to solve the problem that you're trying to solve. And here are the three questions you can ask yourself, right, before deciding if property investing is right for you. And if you say yes to all three questions, then you don't need to do any investing at all, right? If you've got yes, three yeses, no investing required. But if there is no in any of them, chances are you probably need to think about it, okay? So here's the first question. If you don't have a mortgage, then the answer will be yes straight away. But if you have a mortgage and with your current repayments, right, the way you're going with your mortgage, are you satisfied with when you're going to be able to pay off that mortgage? Now, I've talked to thousands of clients, right? I always talk about this. Like, this is something I actually am passionate about. So I talk to a lot of people and have these conversations. Most people, when they just look at their mortgage repayment, they might still have like 23 years, 25 years left on it, right? And if they carry on, they increase their repayment by like $1,000, right? They might pay it off in like 17 years, 15 years. But to them, they're almost closer to retirement age. By that time, they don't have much time to actually invest. So they're not happy with that. But even with some clients, because they upgraded their house like a couple of times, they're in their 50s now, the kids are a bit older, but they still have like a $700K mortgage. And if they just carry on paying for it and they don't have any downsize plan, they're going to live in the same house, chances are it's still going to take another 20 years to pay off that mortgage, even with the increased repayments. So that's why it's so important to ask this question first. With your current repayments, are you satisfied on when you'll be able to pay off your current mortgage with the current plan? If the answer is no, then you have to find some other avenues to be able to pay off the mortgage faster. And that's why the investment makes sense, okay? So that's why you have to find other avenues. But that still doesn't answer the question of whether or not property investing is the answer, okay? So here comes the second question, right? After you know whether or not your current repayment plan makes sense, the second question you need to ask yourself, with your current investment plans, and I'm not talking about like, just putting a couple of thousand in Shezzy's account, that doesn't count. It's your play money. And it doesn't count if you just got 3% on KiwiSaver, because chances are the KiwiSaver is not going to be sufficient, okay? But if you actually actively thought about your investment plan and you've got a plan in place, you're contributing money towards it, whether or not it's an index fund, you're maximizing your KiwiSaver, putting extra in there, that could be more of an investment plan. Or maybe you got some other investments, I'm not sure. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to gear up my business to actually sell one day. I'm going to get all that money back so that I can retire on that lump sum, potentially. Or you're building a business that have passive income, or you have a passive cash flow, share portfolio. But the question is, if we go back to it, with your current investment plan, is it going to allow you to achieve the financial goals you have in mind? Another question that you can actually ask is like, do you even have financial goals in mind? What does the end look like? It's not just like, I want to have, 3 properties. I want to have another $1 million, right? At least if you say I want another $1 million is still a better investment goal or like a financial goal. But most people don't actually have a goal to begin with, right? So you need an investment plan and you need financial goals. If you don't think your investment plan is going to achieve your financial goal, if you say no, then again, property investment might be the solution for you, right? If you say yes, then you don't need property investing, right? If you say yes to that question, then property investment might not be for you. But answer is no, then that leads us to the next question as well that you should think about. If you're not going to do property investments, do you have other investments that's going to give you 10% return consistently? Why do I say 10%? When we talk about properties, we always say it's 7% capital gains in the last last 50 years. Why am I saying 10% here? Well, here's the thing. If you get a property that's giving you just 6 or 7% return and you borrowed half of it, it's a break-even property because of the leverage, because of the borrowing, half of it is from the bank, you're going to have higher than just the market return. So because in property, the massive advantage that you have is that you're borrowing some of it so that you're getting the full capital gains on the full value. That's going to give you higher than 10% return. So if you don't have other investments that's going to give you more than 10% return, then again, property investing might be for you, right? You could safely leverage your portfolio to a point where it's an optimized way of having leverage, right? You want that leverage to look after itself. Maybe if you have a bit of a positive cash flow from the investments, that would be an ideal scenario. But if you don't have the investments that's earning you 10%, then property might be the thing that you need to explore. So again, if we go back to the 3 questions, the first one is, with your current mortgage repayment plan, are you satisfied to when you're going to be able to pay off your mortgage? Answer is yes, then you ask the next question. Answer is no. Chances are you need other avenues. You need another strategy to pay off your mortgage faster, right? And property investment is one of those answers. The second question that you need to think about is, with your current investment plan, is it going to achieve the financial goals that you have set in mind? You might not even have financial goals to begin with. So I hope that you listen to this, you're like, man, I actually don't have any financial goals. If you don't have it in the YouTube channel, I've got like 5 or 6 videos just on goal setting around financials, right? How do you set financial goal? How do you think through that? Those videos is going to help you. So definitely check out the YouTube channel. It's on a playlist. You know, I think I did it during COVID time, so excuse the COVID hair. I was just too afraid to give my wife the razor at the time, but in the end, I did let her cut my hair. You know, you can check that out, okay? So financial goals, investment plan, is it going to actually achieve it? So if the answer is yes, great, you don't need property investing. But if no, then you'll need to think about how you can invest to achieve your financial goals. The third question, very last one, is, if you are not going to do property investing, do you have other investments that's going to reliably give you over a 10% return? And the reason why it's 10% again is because property's got leverage. You're not just putting your money in it, you're going to borrow some money from the bank, and as long as that asset is break even, at least on cash flow, you're getting the capital gains on the borrowed amount and your cash principal amount. That's why you need to look at investments that's at least going to give you 10% or more to sort of match up with properties. So there you have it, folks. Hopefully, if you're still thinking, contemplating whether or not you should invest in properties, these are the most important questions you need to answer, right? And if you got no for any of those answers, you better consider property investing a bit more seriously, because this is about your financial future. And the earlier you think about this, the easier it is, the less risk you're going to take. And don't just go out there and just go, okay, well, I'm paying off my mortgage, but then 3 years later, you go and upgrade your house, you're going to increase your mortgage by another 200K. This is what most people do. So just because you answer yes on the first question, don't let that happen, because, you know, you still need to think about investment. So that's why supplementary, right? You need to make sure you have some sort of plan in place to actually pay off the mortgage faster. And I don't ask for much. If you guys found value in today's episode, definitely just share it with one person who needs to answer these questions themselves. And I'll see you guys again in the next video. Signing out.